Let's bring our friend Tone in. Don't forget Gary Cobb at 4:30.
Big Sills, how you doing today, sir?
Outstanding.
Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear.
I wrote these 4 items down, Tone. Eagles to have a successful 2024. And I want to go over them with you. Maybe you add some too here to this.
Okay.
If you're going to add or subtract anything to the offense, I think they got to do it immediately. Okay? They have to do it immediately. Let me give you another one here. Is the O-line aging? Do you really think it's as good as you think it is? When their rushing ability at the end of the season was terrible. Now, was that by design? That goes back into one a little bit. Is everything okay at right tackle? Center will know soon. Are you short right guard? And the depth. Number 3. What's the plan for the back 7 of your defense? And 4, are you putting the RPO back in or not? I wrote these 4 things down for them to be. This is before you eat, because you'll never know when, and I've told you this. Hey, Dan, what do you think of the draft? Well, they address needs. That's how I'll always address a draft on a Monday after a weekend, because these guys don't even have helmets. You just don't know.
Right.
Of those things that I said, what do you think is the most pressing? And for them to have a successful offseason, this is important here, man, for them, I think, this offseason.
It's interesting, when it comes to the RPO thing, right? That's something that we're never going to be able to know until the season starts. So, I can't, it's so hard for me to even gauge that. I mean, I would like for it to come back into the offense, but we're not going to know that until the season starts. So that's that. I think one thing I will add is their approach to the linebacker position, because it's been abysmal. It's been unacceptable how they viewed that position and the resources they've allocated towards the position. If you take away Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith from the linebacker room, they only have about $4.3 million tied up between 5 guys. That's an estimated salary of $860K between 5. Each guy getting that amount of money. $4.3 million between 5 guys at linebacker. You're not going to win that way.
Or to Jeff Kerr's point, Tone, you're not going to sustain winning.
Yes.
On a yearly basis. With that kind of approach.
Exactly. And look, the NFL has done an amazing job making it hard for teams to sustain success. It's parity, right? It's they do an amazing job with the salary cap.
The draft, the shittiest teams get the 1 pick.
Exactly. Not many teams are set up like that. The worst team get the best pick. That's not set up like that.
I mean, look at the NBA. It's
a lottery.
The chance with the ping pong balls, you could be a great team and end up in the lottery.
Right. It's a lot. Yeah. So again, that's what makes the NFL the best league on the planet, because they actually want their worst teams to become some of the best teams.
That's right.
They challenge you. You have to know what you're doing with the cap. You have to know what you're doing with talent evaluation. They put a lot of onus on these front office guys to do their jobs properly. And I respect it about this league. But as far as the Philadelphia Eagles go, when I look at them, right, I say to myself and say, how do you have a top 10 defensive payroll with bottom 10 results? They should be ashamed of themselves. It's disgusting.
It's a misappropriation of funds. And I'm going to say this to you again. It's Roseman doing this. Well, look at all the money. All the productive players are on offense. Who's the most productive defensive football player? It's Reddick. And then who?
And then after that, you could probably debate for 2023. You could say, okay, Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, but those guys disappeared on the back end.
Okay, well, wait.
So
Fletcher's $10 million, so you got $25 million.
Right.
Of your 243. Who else?
There's no one else productive on that defensive side. Fletcher, Jalen Carter. After that,
So you got 2 playmakers.
That's exactly where they are
with
right
a
now.
top 10 payroll.
With the top 10 payroll. When you listen to it from that perspective, and that's why I've been going hard. I don't know if you noticed, but my tune has changed. Let me not say changed. My tune has gotten a little sharper with the Philadelphia Eagles over the course of the season. And it's because I refuse to be blindsided anymore. I refuse to look at this team as if they just do everything right, and I just have this unequivocal trust in them. I support this team and I rock with this team, but I'm also not going to be blinded to this team's malpractice. And when you spend that much money on the defensive side, and you're getting bottom 10 results, bottom 5 results, if we're being quite honest, how can you justify that? How can you sit to the public? How can you sit to these journalists? How can you sit here in front of the Philadelphia people and say, "Oh yeah, I believe in the Kobe Dean.
Because
Oh
they
yeah,
lied to them.
oh yeah, I believe in Zach Cunningham. I believe in those guys. Are you serious?" What's so funny? I asked Rob Ellis. This was in our first segment. I asked him because we were comparing the franchises in the city, and I said, out of the top 4 franchises in the city, Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, out of those 4 franchises, which one do you trust the most? Which one is the most transparent and honest?
Keith Jones.
And at the top of the list, we had the Flyers as being the most honest, the most transparent.
I trust Keith Jones more than I trust Howie Roseman.
Right. Keith Jones and those Flyers, Danny Briere, those guys, that Flyers organization has been very transparent and very honest about where they are and about what their goals are and about what they're going to do. When it comes to the Phillies,
I have no respect for the 76ers either with that process bullshit.
Exactly. The owner from the Phillies came out, I think it was today or yesterday, saying, "Hey, listen, we got to get our damn trophy back." Forget that.
But look who the GM is.
So and also the guy, what's the GM?
Dave Dombrowski is
Dombrowski.
Look at the GM.
He's a proven winner.
Winner.
And a report just came out by way of our guy Scott Lauber. He works for the Philadelphia Inquirer. A story came out saying the Phillies offered Yamamoto the most money on the market.
Great.
And guess what? He decided to go to LA. But you know what I say to that? I respect the Phillies for taking swings and making it clear what their goal is. We're trying to win a championship, and we know we're on the clock. We're not wasting any time. They know they're on the clock. They said the owner, I'm sorry, the GM was just on WIP, I think a couple weeks ago, saying, "Listen, we may not be as active, but that doesn't mean we're quiet. We're trying to make things happen." You know what I mean? They know they're on the clock. They know it, and I respect the honesty. Then you get to the Sixers, and
Dave's the best GM in your city.
I would have to agree with you on that. When I look at his
resume, Detroit, yes. Miami, Austin.
Yeah,
he's the best general manager in Philadelphia.
You look
at Roseman,
the Sixers, how they've mismanaged resources, how they've been lying to us for years, how they've tried to convince us they're trying to win big with these regular second-round exits, how they've been shuffling in star after star, player after player. I don't trust the Sixers at all. And then we get to the Eagles. Then we get to the Eagles, right? We sit here and watch a press conference where we're blatantly being sold fool's gold.
Zach Cunningham, you're being sold the Dean.
And the Kobe Dean. You're selling me that after what we just witnessed in 2023. You're selling me that.
You're selling me raw. You're selling me stale cabbage.
Exactly. You're selling me snake oil.
Yeah.
And you're telling me it's ibuprofen. Like, come on, man. So when I look at it from that perspective, the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a lot of work to do just for me. I can't look at them and say, "Oh, yeah, I trust Howie Roseman to get this thing right. I trust this." How can I say that when he's shown it? See, here's my problem. He's shown an ability to achieve success, but he hasn't shown an ability to sustain success.
Correct.
That's my problem. That's my problem.
Hit or miss.
Think about it.
He's hit or miss.
Right. The last time the Philadelphia Eagles, in my humble opinion, the last time the Philadelphia Eagles had sustained success was the early Andy Reid era.
Yep.
Back to back NFC Championship appearances. That was legit sustained success.
Joe Banner and them dudes.
But then over the past 10 years, this has been the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
This is them.
And we never want a stock like that.
And we need to be honest about what that is. and about what this team has shown us. Yeah, we like the players. Yeah, we like the colors. Yeah, we like the culture and the vibe. Yeah, of course, we're gonna always rock for my team. I'm never on game day, I'm rocking for my team. Best believe that. But at the end of the day, this is the sports industry, and our job is to analyze this team critically and also be honest about what we're seeing and about what we're hearing. And for me personally, this organization has not been forthcoming about what the plan is. They've been selling us wolf tickets when it comes to Nick Sirianni and what he does. It's frustrating to honestly watch, but again, we have to see this offseason play out because, again, Javi Roseman has an ability to shock you and make some moves. But can he sustain? That's the question. I'm
When
looking
he has
at
money, though.
Say that again.
When he has money.
When he has money. But again, some of the best guys make it happen without the money. They move around, they get creative. I know Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly. He's an anomaly. But still, there's a sustainability there with how they do business. And I feel like they're more transparent. So some people may say I'm being real hard on this team. Some people may say you're not a real fan. Okay, whatever.
No.
But the fact of the matter is, I'm holding them accountable.
What a lot of fans don't like, and certain media people and other people, what they don't like. Remember, like I said, it's honesty. It's your opinion, and this is what you see, and this is what you feel. Actually, you have more of a feel for your team than me. I could care less.
I watched every game more than once. You know, I paid attention to everything they were saying all season, all the press conferences with the players, all that kind of stuff. We all were locked in. And with all the information that I've gathered from week one, from last offseason up until now, they dropped the ball in the offseason. They got cocky and they got cute and they got cheeky with the linebacker position. And they sold to us that Nakobe Dean was going to be some savior, some answer. They sold to us that Jordan Davis finally figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They sold to us that we're committed to winning big and Nick Sirianni is the guy and he has the answers. We have it already on record that Nick Sirianni did not do anything in the offseason. It's on record. He did not change his offense. He did not improve it. He did nothing. It's on record. You got players coming out. You got Brent Covey coming out saying, yeah, we did the same thing last year, nothing, and they caught up with us. It's documented. So when you look at it from that perspective, I'm supposed to just, hey, the Eagles, they always figure it out. Go Birds. Nah, I'm not jacking that. I'm holding them more accountable, and I'm looking for sustained success. I'm not looking for just a one-night stand.
Chris, when I say that I could care less, I literally lose interest. Chris, you get a better take from someone who doesn't have a passionate, vested interest in something, because what you get is complete honesty. For me, you know what my problem is? It's hurricane football. Hurricane football ruins me because I go over the board and over the top with that thing because I have a massive...
You have a vested interest.
Vested interest in that, and it gets the best of me, okay? The rest of it, I love the fans of the... Tone, I've said this since day one. I have never told anybody that I'm a Philadelphia Eagle fan because that would not be genuine. But what I am is a fan of the passionate people like you and everyone that supports that Civic Pride team. Because that is the only thing that I can handle and be truthful to you on. If all of a sudden I come into a market and go, I'm an Eagle fan, that's a freaking lie.
Right.
You know I'm a bullshit artist from day one. You know that.
Exactly.
Okay? So what I try to be is as transparent as you say that I could possibly be. And Chris doesn't like that shit either. That's too bad, kid. You sit there and you wave these pom-poms for this team, and you want to know why you can't.
Here's the problem. Here's my problem. Real quick, Sil. I'm sorry. Here's my problem. We got people who want to go above and beyond and wave the pom-pom for this team. But what is this team doing for you right now?
Raising ticket prices.
What are they doing for you right now? Ask yourself that. Let's be real. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a beautiful time in my life because I'm living more and more in my truth and I'm so much more locked in with who I am.
Careful.
And I'm secure.
Careful.
I'm secure.
Oh, wait.
No,
Careful.
I hear you. I got you. Listen, I'm not gonna disrespect nobody. I ain't gonna call nobody out on names. But I'm gonna be honest. And the fact of the matter is, Eagles fans, I'm telling you this because I've been to those games with y'all. I spent the money on the jerseys with y'all. I buy the merch. I buy the gear. I'm with y'all. So when I say what I say about this team, this ain't coming from a place of I want to see the Eagles lose.
No.
When we won that Super Bowl, when we won that Super Bowl, I cried and broke down to my knees, and I didn't think I'd ever see it happen. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I say all that to say we go so hard for this team, but then we look at the moves that have been made, and then you got to ask yourself, hold on, wait, what are they doing for me? What are they doing for the fan base? What are they doing for the people that really show up at these tailgates? I'm there with y'all. Keg stands, drinking the beer, with the grill, on the bus. I'm with y'all. All them people that surround the stadium selling their pretzels, selling their water ice, selling their waters, selling their knockoff Eagles gear. Yeah, I know, I see y'all, and I bought a couple of them. But the bottom line is, I rock for this team. And when I see shit going on that's BS, we got to call it out, man. $4 million between 5 linebackers. Are we serious? Are we serious? $4 million.
You said something that really, I hadn't thought about it, but you were like, isn't it funny? They don't want Hertz to throw to the middle of the field. And the middle of the field on their defense sucks. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like they're afraid of shit. To me, I think they're hiding Hertz. Let me say something to you about what we were talking about with that RPO, why it's important he's in it. And I'm going to go back to what I talked about with these quarterbacks. And Tone, I know you disagree with me on this one. I don't think Jaylen Herz can lead you to a Super Bowl as a pocket passer. I think Jaylen Herz can lead you to a Super Bowl in multiple ones when he is a absolute weapon like 22. Because when he just throws from the pocket, he's a dude. Here.
I hear you.
And you're going to go, quick, and people will go like this to me. You're not adding the rushing. No, they don't want him to be a rusher anymore. The numbers dictated that a year ago. They don't want him running the ball. So they want him to be a pocket passer. And you get this. Smiley goes, Dan's obsessed with the RPO. The reason I'm obsessed, and so should you be, is because that's why you paid Hertz $50 million a year. You didn't pay him because he's a pocket passer. You paid him because he is a dual threat weapon. He's like Steve Young. So let me show this to you. Here are the NFC quarterbacks. I'm not even going to put one AFC guy on this list. Here's what the Eagles want you to believe. They want a better version because Kellen Moore, in my opinion, is not the right OC, but we shall see. And you're right, Tone. On February 20th, Sills. That's an opinion, right? Yes. But I don't believe he's the right coordinator because the skill set, he's never coached it. He has never coached that skill set. Kingsbury has. So let me get this here. This is what they want. Here's golf. 45, 75, 67%, 30 touchdowns. Purdy, 444, 4280, 30 touchdowns, 69% percentage completion. Dak, 45-16, 36-9, 69.5 in completion percentage. Jordan Love, 41-59, 32 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, 4,044, 28 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford, 39-65, 24 touchdowns. Sam freaking Howell, 39-46. I don't believe he had a better year with the 21 INTs. I don't, but he threw for more yards. Derek freaking Carr, I thought, sucked last year. And Derek Carr had a better year from the pocket than Hertz did because this is what you want. You want Hertz to be a pocket guy. 38-58. Get this. 38-78 Carr, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks, 68.4 completion percentage. I was like this. Is that right? I couldn't believe Derek Carr played that good.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that either because, with the eye test, you
no
saw
shit. He threw more meaningful turnovers than anybody I saw last year.
Yeah, he definitely lost them like 4 games last year.
Dude, I
but to
was
your
like this.
but
I looked at numbers. I went, no, it can't be. And then I got Jaylen at 9, and then Geno's behind him. But Tone, the reason I put those guys above Hurts,
Mhm,
because that's who you want him, not you. That's who the
I got you.
organization wants him to be.
You know, it's funny. In 2022, you know, I think they asked Jalen Hurts about his game and how multidimensional he was, and he coined himself to be a triple threat: passing, running, and decision making. That's the Jalen Hurts I want. I
That's
want
Jalen
that.
Hurts you paid for.
That's the Jalen Hurts the Philadelphia Eagles paid for. And in 2023, and it's funny, you know, we had Dave Zangaro on last year. I'm sorry, we had him on yesterday. We had him on yesterday, and he spoke about last year. And I asked him, you know, what do you think their goal is as far as his development? You know, are they trying to get back to are they trying to, you know, accentuate the RPO? What do you think they're trying to do? And one thing he said that stuck out to me was the fact that he said, well, in 2023, they had no RPO game. It was non-existent. And, you know, he thinks that's why that offense struggled. So again, that leans to your point. You know, Jalen Hurts, yeah, he's going to naturally become a better passer. But as far as I'm concerned, I want Jalen Hurts to maximize what he is.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yes, I want him to evolve. Yes, I want him to be better. Yes, that's all going to be a natural byproduct of it. But I want Jalen Hurts to be the best version of what he provides. That's what I want.
Let
Because
me ask you this.
I think he's most dangerous when his legs are involved. He's most dangerous.
I want to do an exercise here with you.
Yes.
2023 versus 2022. Let's do 23. And I said, who would you build your football offensive team around of the quarterbacks in the league? By the way, I couldn't come up with more than 17, okay, of the 32 teams. And it's funny,
You said
I have Hurts on here.
You said quarterbacks that you would build up, that you would
Build
your team
my
around?
offense around.
Okay.
Okay. Mahomes. I got 1. I got Allen 2. Now, this is for the 23 Hurts. Lamar Jackson, 3. Burrow, 4. Herbert, 5. Herbert's a better passer from the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud, he's young. Notice you'll see I don't have Aaron Rodgers up on here. I'm not building my football team around a 47-year-old guy.
Right.
I got Jordan Love here too at 7. And I put Hurts at 8.
And that's the 2023 Hurts.
And that's the 2023 Hurts because you know why? If he puts another 15 INT season, that's going to impact that. But
right.
I'm going to give him, because of such a sensational 22 year, it's going to affect my thinking for 23, what he did.
Let me ask you something real quick before you get to your 2022 list, or the 2022 version where he plays. Let me ask you a quick question. Everything we know about this season and how it transpired, if Jalen Hurts plays the exact same way, but he cuts the turnovers in half, does he move up your list?
He's in the Super Bowl.
Because remember, you know, this year was less RPOs called, right? So again, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 23.
If Jalen Hurts cuts his INTs down
and plays the exact same way,
and he turns them down, and they turn them down, I think they're going to pass more, run less, because your old line's getting older.
Right.
I think they're going to pass more. I don't believe that turnover ratio is going to go down significantly. I think the attempts are going to hit 650, somewhere in there. And there's going to be more turnovers. And they're going to still look for explosion plays. That's a prediction, Tone.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay? It may be way off. Now watch this. 2022 Hurts. Still take Mahomes. I'm still going to rock with Allen. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts at 3.
Fascinating. He jumps from 8 to 3.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
Because you know why? He's frightening in that RPO. He makes more significant plays. And what else does he do, Tone?
He freezes
Keeps
your defense.
defense fresh.
Yes, and that's the one thing the offense couldn't do last year. To keep the offense couldn't sustain drives last year, and I think that directly attributed to the failure on the defensive side.
Completely.
You put too much.
They were, what were they, 62 yards per game when it came to run defense? After they started struggling and became predictable on the numbers, they were giving up 145 yards a game on the ground.
Absolutely.
So my point is, the 22 Hertz is scary. The 23 Hertz,
not as scary.
Glorified Tyrod Taylor. Now, is he better? Of course he's better.
Right.
That's why I said he's a glorified Tyrod Taylor, man. I mean, dude, they're trying to turn this kid into Jacoby Brissett or Tyrod Taylor instead of turning him into Lamar. Look at, you know what? You know what's funny, Tom?
I think they're trying to turn him into some version of Donovan McNabb.
Wow. I you know.
Remember, Donovan,
that was by McNabb's design.
Right. But again, the McNabb became a pocket passer on the back end. Well, not even the back end. After the first 4 or 5 seasons, he decided he was going to be a pocket guy.
I want you to see something here.
And I think Jaylen looks at it. That's why when I listen to Jaylen talk and I hear how he talks about his skill set, he understands how unique his skill set is. And he wants to lean into that. And I think that's where the frustration came in 2023.
Do me a favor. Pull up Lamar Jackson's 2023 statistics. Okay? Pull up his 23 and take a look at those numbers and tell me if they remind you of somebody.
All right, let's see here. All right, got him up. Let's do this.
Okay. Here's the most valuable player this year. And here's the 2023 most valuable player season. Passing yards, 3678. What did Hertz have in 2022?
Like
3,700?
Yeah, like 3,700. Something like that. Yeah, like 36, 30, something like that. Yeah.
Let's look at the touchdowns. 24. What did Hertz have? Like 23, right?
Yeah. I see what you're doing. This is the Jaylen Herz season.
Yeah.
This is the Jaylen Herz season from last year.
Yeah.
The attempts are actually spot on. The attempts are the same.
Yeah.
The completion percentage is pretty much the same. Lamar completed 67%. Hertz completed 66 last year.
Yep.
They're pretty much exactly.
That's Jaylen Hertz's 2022 season.
That's interesting. That's a good pull.
Bring up Jaylen's numbers.
That's
and
a good
take a look at Jaylen's numbers. Compare 36, 78, 24, and 7. How many INTs did Jaylen have last year? 6. He had 7. Difference was Jaylen had more rushing touchdowns with 11. I think Lamar had 7. Gee.
They're pretty identical. You're absolutely
38,
right.
58.
No, you're right. It's pretty identical.
3701, 22 and 6, 66-5.
Hold on, wait. Time's out. I think their passing attempts are exactly the same. Hold up.
Gee, Tone. There's a guy who finished second in the MVP, and I just showed you the same statistics in 23.
In 2023, Lamar Jackson threw the ball 457 times and completed 307 passes. Jaylen Herz in 2022 threw the ball 460 times, completed 306 of his passes. They had identical seasons. One guy won the MVP, the other guy was the runner-up MVP.
And how many games did he win in Lamar won 14 games this year?
Lamar won 14.
Games did he win last year? He was
14. I'm sorry. Lamar won 13. He won 13 and 3. He didn't play the last game.
Oh, that's right.
But
they held him out.
Right. So I guess
he was like 13 and 2.
13 and 3. And Hertz went 14 and 1.
And Hertz went 14 and 1.
They had the exact same season.
Would you get away from that? Why are you doing that?
You raise a
Why are you increasing the attempts to suffice? You're trying to win a Super Bowl from the perimeter, and you're not.
You raised a very good point, and that adds even more to your case that they're trying to change Jalen Hurts, and they should lean more into what he is instead of trying to turn him into something he's not. And I think this is a point where Jalen Hurts has to be a leader and say, "Listen, this is what I need to win. This is how I'm going to be successful."
Here's the formula.
It's there. They have it. They have it.
They have the formula, but because they think they're so smart, Howie thinks he's so smart, the shitty coordinator hires, the inability to build the again, Tone, winning a Super Bowl is not about just the quarterback. Would you not agree that the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and the defense were the reasons they won that Super Bowl? It wasn't just that Kansas City defense. I thought in the second half they stuffed San Francisco.
Yeah, if I had to rank the reasons, if I had to rank the top 3 reasons the Chiefs won that Super Bowl, I know a lot of people want to put Mahomes 1. Not me. I say that Chiefs defense 1, Mahomes a very, very close second. And then after that, I'll say opportunistic special teams and defense. Because, the muff punt, forcing the fumble by Christian McCaffrey, but that's the defense still. So again, I mean, I would put the defense ahead of what Patrick Mahomes provided. That's just me, though. And I'm not trying to take anything from Mahomes because he was electric in the second half. He was surgical. But me personally, I felt like the defense kept them in that game. The defense allowed Mahomes to get through that first half, only being down 7 points, and turned it up in the second half. Key stops in the red zone, holding them to 3 points. You don't beat the Chiefs with field goals. You beat them with touchdowns. And I think that's where, and again, I think the Eagles need to find a way. And this is tough sledding here, but I look at that defense and I say to myself, they're nowhere near that.
No, they're 2 years away.
They're 2 years away from being a top 10 defense, in my opinion. I think they're 1 year away from being 15 at minimum.
Giving them a lot of love.
You think 15 is too high?
I think 15 with 2 expensive corners.
Because that's middle of the pack, literally.
Okay. Man,
you don't think they can
start strong.
Like you don't think they can go from, because again, their defense was one of the worst. You don't think they can go
from
how the
offense looks.
And that's another thing.
The offense has to carry the defense, like we said this year, and it did.
And to a point. And they can't. I spoke about this. You and I spoke about this last offseason. The Eagles, their defense has to be opportunistic, and their offense has to sustain drives. If they want this defense to come along slowly and properly, the offense has to do their job. They have to be on the front line when it comes to this team. The defense, they had nothing in the second half of the season. They had nothing. And I think it was also because that offense couldn't sustain drives, and you put them Chiefs game. How many plays were there on the field? Like 65 plays, 70 plays?
It was like that, 67 plays.
The Bills game, 100 plays, 95 plays. Beyond that, it's that defense was put in a position they should have never been in.
That's right.
But I'm not saying that to dismiss the fact that they have personnel issues, because they did.
Yep.
I think more than one thing went wrong. But at the same time, going into this season, once again, this offense has to do their job and be effective and efficient and sustain drives. And you sustain drives by having a running game. Passing the ball up and down the field. Go ahead.
Financially, they have to carry it.
Yeah, that part too. Yeah.
Death row, I see it. I know he's an amazing player. He's an amazing player, Mahomes. He really is. And by the way, I said this too. You know what's crazy is about how they're approaching Jaylen and wanting him to have explosive plays. Tom Brady did this for 6 Super Bowls. Check down, check down, check down, check down, check down, check down. Vinatieri kick, field goal, 6 Super Bowls. And and yet you want to make Hertz the quarterback who has to throw the toughest passes and not develop your offense.
They made his job
so
10
difficult.
times harder than it had to be last year.
Absolutely.
10 times
and
harder.
Get this. We just showed you. Why didn't you let him play like
and he
Lamar?
still won 11 games.
Still won 11 games.
Still found a way to win 11 games through all that BS that was going on.
But here's what I'm going to tell you, Tone. I think one of the reasons also, can I tell you why I think they hired new coordinators too? You won 11 games, and it wasn't the coordinator's fault. It was the approach's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say he was. Look,
they don't
was Brian Johnson qualified for the job at the beginning? No. What was the sign? No. That's a front office issue. That's a front off. That's like hiring a guy to run Pepsi out of college with no experience, not having gone through the trials and tribulations that you have as a CEO. Just going like this, going by the book or the analytics, as we like to say.
They don't trust Nick Sirianni. It's very plain to me. Every move they made with that coaching staff tells me they don't trust that man. They can spin it however they want. Your actions tell me you don't trust him. It was his offense. Oh, now it's the Eagles' offense. See how things change?
So Brian Johnson gets fired, but not you.
Exactly. Everybody around you got fired except for you.
Except for you. How about this one here?
Real quick, we've seen coaches get fired and their staff stay. We've never seen it the other way around, have we?
Never. I've never seen that.
You fire everybody but the head coach? Hold on, wait. Did he hire him or not? And that's the question we have to ask ourselves.
He never did.
If he didn't hire him, that's the only reason you justify keeping him in the building because you probably set him up for failure. So which is it? Did you set him up for failure?
How he should have been fired.
Or is he responsible for this blunder? It's one or the other. It's a 50% chance we right. That's the crazy thing about all the situation, all the stuff that we're talking about here. No matter how many ways people want to slice it, either they set him up for failure or he's not as good as they think he is.
How do you think they're trending right now?
The Eagles?
Yeah.
With so many unknowns, with so many defensive personnel issues, with bad contracts on the defense side of the ball, if I'm being frank with you, with that schedule, I think they're trending towards 8 or 9 wins. 8 or 9 wins with that defense.
That's why he loves his team. That's why he loves his team.
Hey, listen, man, I can't jump off the deep end, but so far.
That thing looks like a 5 to 7 win team to me right now. Unless something dramatically changes on defense. I'll say it one more time, Tone. I think you got a Super Bowl offense.
Because here's the thing.
Bottom 5 defense.
Because here's the thing, right? Let's just say, and this is the part about football that I love, but I also hate, right? Let's just say offense has a bad day. It's the NFL. It happens. It happens. I'm pretty sure when you were playing with Miami, defense probably didn't have it that day. Offense came in. Did they think? It's the nature of the game. It's a part of the sport. It's 3 sides of the ball for a reason. Offense, defense, special teams. Sometimes special teams win the game for you.
Absolutely.
So my point is, when you think about the Philadelphia Eagles going into the 2024 season, you have to ask yourself, knowing what we know about this defense, knowing what we know about the special teams and the offense, how much room for error do they have?
None.
The offense can't have a bad day.
Right.
Do you know how much of a shitty position that is to be in?
Oh, completely.
The offense, and realistically speaking, do y'all really think the offense is going to be on every week?
They weren't on at all last year. I mean, they were on Miami, Rams,
Buffalo on the back end,
Buffalo in the 4th and 5th.
But again, realistically speaking,
Bucks.
Because
early
of the nature,
Bucks.
yes, early Bucks, that Rams game, because of the nature of the sport, and there's so many moving parts, it's unreasonable to expect the offense to be on every single week. Setbacks are going to happen. An injury is going to happen. A turnover is going to happen. Maybe the opponent just has your number that day. Can your defense win you a game? Hell no. And that's why I have the Philadelphia Eagles as like an 8 or 9 win team going into the 2024 season today. Because the defense can't even save them on a bad day.
Here. And you don't have a lot of depth.
And you ain't got no depth. And we don't know what kind of coaches we're working with.
You don't have any depth on defense.
They don't have depth anywhere.
And you don't have no depth on your offensive line or your running game.
Still, they don't have depth anywhere.
I know. Receivers. It's almost like they're being cheap and paying certain people and robbing from other positions, robbing the safety position, robbing the linebacker position, robbing the running back. You know what? It's not just the middle of the defense. Think about it, Tone. It's the running back position, it's the linebacker position, and it's the safety. It's like the heart of your entire unit.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question real quick, right? How many games back when you were playing, with 13 games in the college season, 12 games?
13.
13? Out of those 13 games, how many games can you say we didn't have it that week? On your defense,
we were the number one defense in the country. So remember that.
That's true too. So
2 years in a row.
So again,
number one team. But
I just want to clarify though, like you guys were on every week. Nobody pushed you guys.
I'll tell you a quick story here. We go play Pitt, and I think the only reason that Pitt didn't kill us, we're the number one team in the country, and the only reason Pitt didn't kill us is because their quarterback was horrific and got hurt, John Kajemi. And they put this stiff in there, and Ironhead and Tone. I hate to bring this game up because it's the most embarrassing time at UM. He goes for 250 yards.
The pain in your voice.
It's the most embarrassing time at UM. We beat him 36-9. And that's when I bring up with Dave when he comes on. He came into the room. He flipped the tables. And you son of a bitches, you made that son of a bitch Ironhead, who I loved. Okay, great friends with him. He's from New Jersey. I love the guy. I think he's from either Passaic or Pensacola, I forget where he's from. And I loved Iron. Let me say this. He was so good, they gave a scholarship to his brother.
Wow.
And that's how good this kid was. And dude, he comes, you son of, and I looked at Jerome, I go, we did win, right? And he's like, that plane flight home, man, was miserable. It was the only game that that one and the Sugar Bowl, we didn't, a guy got hurt and it threw us for a loop.
Exactly. So that's my point. My overall point is perfect example. Chiefs, Ravens, AFC Championship. You think the offense won that game for the Chiefs? No. The defense. So my point is there's going to be weeks where your offense just doesn't have it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Can the Eagles defense step up today? I don't think they can step up to a damn stoop. That's the cold reality, though. The cold, not warm. The cold one. And I know it makes people shiver a little bit.
Of course it does.
But that's the reality. And this defense makes me nervous.
This thing makes me as nervous as the meatball sandwich I ate this morning here, man. Gave me agita, man. I mean, it's the worst thing I ever did in my life, and I know better to order a meatball sandwich from someplace. I know better not to do that. Anyway.
Make it at home. It's better. Make it at home.
Dude, I got it, man. This is not good. I hate it.
Way better.
I got massive agita with this. Anyway, it's heartburn for all you white people out there. Okay. Hassan Reddick.
Yes.
You're right, Tone. There is a market for teams from what the grapevine, Craig Carton, I'm not kidding. The grapevine is saying is there's 4 teams that I've heard of. Texans, Commanders, Raiders, Colts.
You can't let them get to the Commanders. That's a no-go. So you got to get them to the AFC, and you got to make sure it's a team that's not on your schedule.
Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want him to go to the Commanders.
Hell no. Hell no.
You imagine him taking Reddick out, or you imagine Reddick taking Hertz out at
I,
Lincoln Financial.
I'll kill him.
Holy, who would you kill? Wouldn't you be looking at your guy up in with the binoculars, Mr. Binocular?
Oh my God. Damn Poindexter. Come on, man.
Yeah, hey, got the binoculars out. There's Howie. Damn, Reddick just crushed Jaylen Herz. Shit. Just broke his arm.
Don't do that. Don't do that. We're not even putting that in the zeitgeist. We ain't putting that into the energy, into the atmosphere. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. But I can definitely, but I could, you know what's so crazy? I can definitely see him going to the Colts. I can see that. I can definitely see that.
There's a part of me that says I could see him going back to Arizona.
Really?
With Gannon.
It's not impossible.
I think they'd have to get rid of Budda Baker for that to make sense with the cap.
Financially, right?
Financially.
And here's the thing, right? Whoever trades for him, it's because it's going to be a sign and trade.
Yeah.
Or trade and sign, however you want to lay it out. But look, I think ultimately I had this feeling that they're going to work something out here. I do have this feeling. We'll see though. Again, it's an opinion.
You want him back?
Yeah. I would like him back.
You want Graham back?
Graham got to sit this one out, man. I love BG to death, but this ain't about love, man. This is about roster spots and money.
Look,
and
getting rough. I like it. It's true.
it's the truth, man. Now, do I want him back? No. Do I think the Eagles are going to bring him back? Yeah, I think they will.
That's a hard. Hey, again, that's a PR. That's a PR move. See what we do for you. That's how you raise your ticket prices on your fans, right there, by bullshitting them. Brandon Graham's celebrity victory tour.
Brandon Graham's last game. Make sure you're in attendance.
Yeah, all that.
They're going to sell the Brandon Graham merch. All that.
Right. You're gonna have a little bobblehead. All that bullshit.
See, I blame you for. I blame you for. How do I say this? Opening my eyes a little wider. I blame you for making me think about the money too much.
Oh man,
I've never thought about the money as much as I do this season than ever before.
Well, you see the money's ruined the defense.
I blame you, but the bottom line is, this is the NFL, and it's always about the greenbacks.
Always about the money.
Always about the money. It's never not about the money.
See, the NFL wants you to have passion for your team.
That's the gag.
They don't want you to think about the money.
That's the gag right there.
Yeah.
Case in point.
Do you understand it? You're more educated WWE fans.
That's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
You are. You're more educated WWE fans.
Right. Listen, perfect situation to bring up. Jimmy Garoppolo. He had a mishap with the old drug test thing, right? He had a mishap.
Did he? Okay.
Listen. But here's my point, though. The moment the Raiders knew it avoided a clause in his contract, they cut him. Saved $12 million. The moment they knew that. It's always about the money. It's always about the money.
Wait a minute. You know what's not what is so why you're right? So let me get this right. Without any due process. Without going through the NFL Players Association.
Without the appeal going through.
Having your agent talk to anyone. They report that he failed he took a test or he took a drug that had no medical meaning. I don't even know what that means.
Right.
Okay. They cut him and they save 11.2.
And guess what?
Where's the due process?
Garoppolo's appealing it right now.
Oh, now.
Well,
what was the due process for them to cut him?
Exactly. What was because you guys said so. It just, like you said, where's the due process? They cut him and saved $11 million.
They knew exactly what they were doing. Like you said, they put something in his Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Listen, tinfoil hat
time.
Hey,
that ain't saltpeter in that Frosted Flakes, man. That's something else in there.
Tinfoil hat time, you guys. I'm telling you. They sprinkled a little something in that water.
Yeah, man, you got to take the aluminum foil hat off a little bit sometimes with these freaks. These people don't tell you the truth. They meddle all the time, and they're always in the way. The NFL is a very untruthful organization.
Perfect example. Another one. Remember when Tua suffered that? Was it the first concussion or the second one? I think it was the first one. Remember the first one he
Could have been
suffered?
the fourth one.
Exactly. But remember the one that we saw, right?
Was that the one where he was wobbling around the field?
And he went back on the field. Like he went.
Yeah,
Like,
then they put him back out there.
yeah, that game. Was that the Buffalo game?
I think so.
I can't remember. But nonetheless, though, it was reported as, oh, it was a leg injury.
Yeah.
What? That was not. We saw that man on live television. That was not no damn leg injury. And then obviously the Bengals game where he kind of tensed up and that was a rough situation. But it put the league on notice, saying it was a big story about how did they lie about his medical situation. And it came out saying that they didn't lie or whatever. I'm not buying that.
How about this?
It's about the money.
Boxer gets a concussion. He's out 6 months. When an NFL player is out for a concussion,
he's out 2 weeks.
If that's a grade 4, remember, you know how the NFL gets around it?
They make you take
3 or 4.
I've never heard of anything outside of the NFL. Anything outside of the NFL. Last time I checked, either you got a concussion or you don't.
You know that doctor that Will Smith played?
Yeah,
I've had him on my show.
I was just looking that up the other day.
I had him on my show when he goes like this. There's no such thing as grades on concussions.
It's either you got one or you don't.
You either have one or you don't.
It's all about the
You know
money.
who the NFL had that was ahead of under Paul Tagliabue? I'll end this with you here so you'll know how ridiculous it is. Paul Tagliabue had a hairdresser or some sort of doctor who was totally not qualified to put in charge of concussions. Do you know that the Hall of Famers, the voters, put a blue ribbon committee together because the normal voters would never have put Tagliabue in for his mishandling of the players that they vote on every year to go into the Hall of Fame. That blue ribbon they had was to put Tagliabue in the Hall of Fame. His mishandling of the concussion and the concussion protocols and how he handled it, saying that football has no bearing on it. All these men, Andre Waters and Dave Durson and Mike Webster and all these guys that are dying and committing suicide. Junior Seau. Junior Seau took a shotgun to his chest so he didn't shoot his head, so that the doctor that's in that movie could do an autopsy on his brain for CTE. You know how I found out about Junior Seau passing? A great friend of mine called me. And God, he just escapes my brain. The guy from the Bills, help me out here. Outside linebacker. Damn it. Played on those great teams with Cornelius Bennett.
What year was that?
94.
Let's see here. All right, 1994 Bills roster. Let's go through. All right, outside linebacker, Marvis Paxton, Marcus Darryl Talley. There it is.
Darryl Talley calls me. I'm doing a show in Miami. He calls me. He goes, "We lost Junior." And you know what his mom said to me? Lived in Oceanside, California. You know what his mom told me? He would sit in dark rooms because during the daytime,
the light was just too much.
The light was too excruciating for him to go through a normal life. And that he sat in rooms and had suicidal thoughts. He drove himself and he drove his car off the road once. Do you know? And Tim Brown said it most and said it best. If we knew he was struggling like that, 70 guys would have ran to him. We would have all ran to him to help him. It's a lonely ending for some of these men. And Paul Tagliabue got put in the Hall of Fame because he thinks that's just a nothing burger. In the NFL, you see, Tone, only 26,000 men in 106 years have played the game. I'm one of them. They're just hoping all the old guys die. That's why they keep it in court. That's why concussions are looked on now, because they don't want to be in a courtroom.
Mm.
They're just hoping we all die. They don't care about the health of the players.
That's cold.
Thursday night games, overseas games, adding another game. If you're going to add another game, don't you add another bye?
Yeah, or don't you increase the size of the roster?
They've kind of done that, but why not another bye, Tone?
I hear that. I believe there should be 2 buys.
Me too.
There should be a universal buy, and then everybody should get their own buy. You know what I mean? Like a buy that everyone takes at the same time, and then everyone gets their own unique buy.
I'll leave you with one last story. His name is Billy Ray Smith. I worked with him at the Mighty 1090, San Diego, Southern California. Legendary player. Was in that 83 draft with all those great quarterbacks. I think was a top 5 pick. Played at Arkansas. Do you know he has to wear a device, a GPS device, so his wife can find him?
Wow.
Because he gets lost and he doesn't know where he is.
Wow.
He goes out when he leaves his house to go get goes to the grocery store. He gets lost because he doesn't know how to get home. She's an anchor in San Diego. She's been on the air a long time. She calls me up crying, and we go looking for him.
It's always about the money.
They put that dude in the Hall of Fame.
It's always about the money.
Absolutely. Tone, Gary Cobb's going to be around the corner here. We're going to talk to G Cobb. I appreciate you always, man. Thank you, my friend.
Always good conversation, man.
You got it. All right. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.